I've recently moved to Ashton-under-Lyne. It's an ancient Lancashire town, now incorporated within Greater Manchester. A large medieval church dominates this town's skyline. That skyline informs the story below. Domesday Book mentions this ancient church, but in fact its broad back was rebuilt in the 1840s. This beautiful tower was erected as late as 1886. Things change. Do not trust a mere appearance. Towns also change. Ashton was once rich, hence its large and ornate churches, but today's post-industrial town displays poverty almost everywhere. The lower layer super output area at one end of the large parish suggests that people live with severe levels of deprivation. It's a mere 0.7% from the bottom. Mid-parish, that deprivation is lifted only slightly. So in a different part of town, the deprivation is 1.7 from the bottom. It's bad. As Vicar of Ashton, I serve 4 large Church of England schools. That serving entails visiting for classes, collective worship. I'm a governor. These schools look like schools, sound like schools, operate like schools, but like the shadows cast by the local skyline. Please do not look at externals. Don't look at the shape of the curriculum or the uniform the children wear. Shadows can appear untextured. Ultimately, they're pretty uninformative. They hide change. 2 of those junior schools were unremarkable until relatively recently, but today all 4 of them are rightly described as exceptional. Very clearly, children attending those schools thrive, and they do so despite the externals of deprivation and decay. It was not the level of education I noticed during my introductory tours around each of those schools. I did not notice, because in a sense that education excellence is in each case a symptom. It's a byproduct, a shadow. Nor do I notice shadows cast by the economic or even the domestic scenes. Again, shadows cast by faith or ethnicity. They seem largely unnoticed. Actually, the reason you do not see those shadows is because there's so strong a light. And that light is hope. Under the momentum of good leaders, these schools teach their children that they can improve their lives, their life chances. Learning and self-respect are the means to an achievable end. That end is not just educational. The children are taught that they matter, that their choices matter, they have agency. Schools also teach mutual respect, which in practice means looking out for others. Quite deliberately, the pupils are therefore taught the ideas of consequence. And they know the staff speak this language because they care and they want the best for them. Consequences can be good. Hence this meditation on seeking hope using the language of care and change and consequence. Unquantifiable factors such as caring motivate this hope rather than features such as SATs or spelling and grammar, which can all be measured, they can be graded, they can be ranked. Because hope does not measure, grade or rank the children, all can be valued equally and none is perceived as better or worse. True, a good teacher will always try and teach everyone regardless of ability, but every child recognises the innate rankings of those desiderata in a curriculum. The phrase unconditional positive regard was a phrase popular in person-centred counselling perhaps a decade ago. It's been supplanted somewhat recently. But the idea is simple enough. In hope, we reach out to each pupil regardless. As St. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 13:7, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. A good person with hope lives their hope rather than wears it or consumes it. This hope seeks change and expresses it in terms of wholeness. It therefore does not develop one part of a personality in preference to another. It looks at well-being, so it includes food as well as classrooms, sauces, cardigans, and other uniforms as well as books. It implies rather that we do hope as well as it express it, aspire to it, think and pray for it. Here's an exercise. Try praying 1 Corinthians 13 slowly, but with the word hope instead of love. And in fact, the same godliness shines through. I'm saying that this hope is intentional. It requires continual agitation, resources, and, dreadful word, training. Actually, training for hope will never work if the teaching is delivered online or through PowerPoint. Words can sound such weak things, but hope can be communicated if taught by observation and immersion. Experiencing the sense of new life in a friend or a neighbour's hope-filled heart is devastatingly effective. We don't just do hope, we transmit hope. A good head inspires their teachers, who in turn inspire the children in their charge. It creates a generous cascade of strong hope. Well, these thoughts above, they're prompted by a reimagining of hope in a few primary schools, each located in a relatively small deprived town. But the principles, they transfer very readily. Only the details will differ, meaning it can be upscaled, downscaled, directed to an individual or to a crowd, to a church, a group, a family. Hope. All of us live within a limited number of contexts. We can affect change and be the change that we desire in a single or a multiple location. But I guess it generally starts with a very small number of people living that hope, intentionally being hope.